Living paycheck to paycheck. It's a cycle that feels impossible to escape. And maybe you know what it feels like to watch your money disappear as soon as it comes in, leaving little to show for all the hard work. And it's not just about the numbers in your bank account. It's about how this lifestyle affects your dreams, your peace of mind, and your ability to truly enjoy life. But what if I told you that breaking free from this exhausting loop is absolutely possible for you? Today, we're diving into the real cost of living paycheck to paycheck, the financial sacrifices, the hidden psychological toll, and the opportunity costs that keep you stuck. We'll talk about the steps to regain control and start building a life that you love. Living paycheck to paycheck is more than just a financial challenge. It's a cycle that can feel impossible to break. For many, the struggle begins with debt. Take student loans, for example. When you're carrying $100,000 in student loan debt, making only the minimum payment each month can feel like a hopeless burden. But it doesn't stop there. Debt often spills into other areas of our life. And it's not just limited to student loans, but also credit cards, personal loans, and car payments. The average car payment is actually $734 a month. For households with 2 cars, that's $1,468 being funneled into liabilities instead of assets. These payments might seem manageable at first, but they add up fast, keeping families stuck in a cycle where there's little room to save or invest for the future. Both examples, the hefty student loan debt and the ongoing car payments, highlight how debt traps us in a paycheck to paycheck cycle. It's a cycle of constantly owing more than we can comfortably afford, leaving little room for flexibility or forward-thinking financial decisions. Breaking free requires understanding how these patterns reinforce each other and taking intentional steps to disrupt the cycle. When you do, the weight starts to lift and you can begin building the financial breathing room that you need. Living paycheck to paycheck doesn't just strain your wallet. It takes a heavy toll on your mind and relationships too. Financial stress is all-encompassing, and one of the most shocking impacts is on marriage. Studies have consistently shown that financial stress is one of the #1 causes for divorce in the United States. When couples are constantly worried about making ends meet, arguments over spending and saving and priorities become inevitable, eroding trust and connection. I'm reminded about one of my early clients, Nick and Joy, and they were not in any way, shape, or form on the rocks with their marriage, but I know that their finances created some tension for them. In this example, Nick, he had gotten audited by the IRS, and he felt the need to print off every single one of his bills and literally put it in a folder and stamp it paid. And that was consuming hours of his time, let alone that he and his wife didn't have a great system of communicating about the daily spending money. So she would come to him and like, hey, is it cool if do we have money for groceries this month or whatever? And that is a painful example of how a lot of families operate, right? But by using automation, by breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle, by building these habits, this spending account, this makes communication about money much more effective, knowing that there's always going to be money for the things that we need each week, let alone each and every month in pay cycle. But it's not just about relationships. The stress of living paycheck to paycheck has deeper psychological effects. It creates a sense of urgency, a fight or flight response that leaves little mental space for long-term planning or pursuing your actual dreams. Many people sacrifice their ambitions for the comfort of a steady paycheck. They might have a stable job and a nice car. They're stuck in a cycle that trades their bigger aspirations for short-term convenience. Over time, this trade-off creates a lingering dissatisfaction that builds into compounded stress, making it harder to break free from the cycle and pursue what truly matters. Every month, the stress of paying bills, of meeting deadlines, and not having enough savings slowly affects your mental health, making you more tired, more worried, more stressed. The burden doesn't just impact your ability to dream, it affects your physical and emotional well-being. Stress, after all, is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and even physical illnesses like heart disease. This leads us to a powerful realization. The cost of living paycheck to paycheck goes far beyond just your finances. It's about the quality of life. Breaking free from the cycle isn't just about having more money. It's about reclaiming your mental clarity and emotional balance. Once you start to create financial breathing room, you'll find that not only the numbers improve, but your relationships, your mental health, and your overall happiness do too. And now this brings us to the role of opportunity costs. Here's the thing about living paycheck to paycheck. It keeps you focused on the short term, often at the expense of your long-term goals. Every financial decision has an opportunity cost. What you give up when you choose one option over the other. Take Ashley, for example, one of my former clients. She was a six-figure engineer with a stable job, but the work wasn't really fulfilling. On weekends, she pursued her passion for music, playing gigs and earning some side income. Deep down, she wanted to turn this passion into a full-time career, but fear held her back. What changed after our work? Ashley built an emergency fund that gave her like 6 months of financial runway. That buffer gave her the confidence to transition to her passion project without the constant fear of running out of money. Today, she's making more than she did as an engineer, and she's living her dream. Her story illustrates the importance of opportunity costs. When you're caught in the paycheck to paycheck cycle, it can feel impossible to plan for the future. But as Ashley's story shows, breaking that cycle, even with small steps like saving for an emergency fund, can give you the freedom and confidence to pursue your long-term goals. But by making small sacrifices today, you can open the door to greater opportunities tomorrow. So the next time you're faced with a financial choice, ask yourself, what is the long-term cost of this decision? Could this money work harder for you elsewhere? Breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't easy, but it's absolutely achievable. But how? Let me elaborate. The first step is creating a system that automates your finances and puts your priorities on autopilot. Think about it. Many of us contribute to a 401k, a retirement savings plan offered by employers that helps us set aside money for the future, often with the benefit of employer-matched contributions, without even thinking about it because the process is automated. What if you applied the same principles to other areas of your finances? You could automate savings for an emergency fund, debt payments, or even investments in your brokerage account. Automation takes the guesswork out of managing your money. It separates essential expenses like housing and bills from your discretionary spending, so you're not tempted to dip into funds that are earmarked for your future or to pay the bills. But it's not just about the system, it's about shifting your mindset. Here's how. My client saved $600 a month. That's like $14,000 annually. And it all can happen with a very quick shift. See, most of the people I work with that are six-figure families have some debt, have a lot of additional expenses that are not really providing value to their life. So we can free up cash in a variety of ways, take that cash and get it up into a high yield savings to get you a month ahead, and then survey to see how much free cash you have, because most families I work with have 4 big goals. They want to pay down debt, build emergency savings, build savings buckets, think home and auto maintenance or Christmas or vacation or whatever else, kids stuff as an example, and then investing lastly. And so we can work together to help them hit these goals all on autopilot. Living paycheck to paycheck doesn't have to be your reality. By understanding the costs, both financial and psychological, and taking intentional steps to break the cycle, you can create a life that's not just sustainable, but fulfilling. It's about more than making ends meet. It's about creating a future where you're in control of your money, your choices, and your dreams. So what's the first step towards breaking free? If your household is making over $100,000 a year, but you're feeling overwhelmed with your finances, consider booking a call with me where we'll go through your unique situation to learn more about your goals and maybe what's keeping you stuck. We'll create a plan to help you automate everything and provide the tools and accountability to ensure that everything gets set up. And if you're not sure whether it makes sense to rent or buy, then you should check out my previous video linked above. Thanks for watching.